Other feelings for you. Your mileage may vary. But now tonight there is some breaking news from the Washington Post. The White House right now is deciding whether or not to allow the release of a classified memo prepared by Democrats on the Intelligence Committee, basically to rebut a classified memo the White House released last week from Trump-supporting Republicans in Congress. That Republican memo released on Friday, it did not go off like the bomb they hoped and promised it would. But it did make clear that what the White House and congressional Republicans think is their best shot at derailing the Russia investigation, derailing Robert Mueller's special counsel investigation. They think their best shot at it is to try to tarnish the FBI's whole investigation of the Russia attack, to tarnish the FBI's whole counterintelligence and criminal investigation of the Trump campaign for its potential cooperation in that attack. They want to tarnish that investigation, discredit it, and thereby try to make it go away by trying to claim that the whole FBI investigation was based on information given to the FBI by this guy, Christopher Steele, the former lead agent on Russia matters for MI6 in Britain. Attacking him really appears to be the centerpiece, if not the whole game plan, for what is now a Republican full-court press to try to save this presidency and stop the investigation into him that has already resulted in 2 guilty pleas and multiple felony charges against 2 Trump campaign officials. Now, in the House, Republican Devin Nunes has released his classified memo that he now admits misstates how the FBI used Chris Steele's information in court to get a surveillance warrant. That's what's happening in the House against Christopher Steele. In the Senate, it's Republican Senator Chuck Grassley, along with Republican Senator Lindsey Graham. They are literally trying to get the Justice Department to bring criminal charges against Christopher Steele. And in the middle of this scrum, with the president reportedly meeting in person today at the White House with Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein to discuss the Democrats' classified memo on this matter, with the White House actively engaged in making its decision about releasing the Democratic information or not, letting the Republican attacks on the FBI and Chris Steele stand unanswered or not, as they are in the middle of making that decision with a 5-day clock ticking, and today is day 2. Now, in the middle of that, the Washington Post has just published a whole bunch of new reporting that we have never seen before about what actually happened between this guy, Christopher Steele, and the FBI. Quoting from the lead here. In the fall of 2016, a little more than a month before Donald Trump was elected president, Christopher Steele had the undivided attention of the FBI. For months, the British former spy had been working to alert the Americans to what he believed were disturbing ties Trump had to Russia. He'd grown so worried about what he'd learned from his Russia network about the Kremlin's plans that he told colleagues it was, quote, like sitting on a nuclear weapon. Well, he was now being summoned to Rome, where he spent hours in a discreet location telling 4 American officials, some of whom had flown in from the United States, about his findings. The Russians had damaging information about Trump's personal behavior and finances that could be used to pressure the GOP nominee. What's more, the Kremlin was now carrying out an operation with the Trump campaign's help to tilt the U.S. election. A plot Steele had been told was ordered by President Vladimir Putin. The FBI investigators treated Steele as a peer, a Russia expert so well trusted he had assisted the Justice Department on past cases. He had provided briefing materials for British prime ministers and at least one U.S. president. During intense questioning that day in Rome, the FBI officials alluded to some of their own findings of ties between Russia and the Trump campaign. So this is new information. By this point, by the fall, September or October 2016, before the election, Christopher Steele had been a key source for the FBI in its investigation of corruption in international soccer. That was an investigation that led to 14 soccer executives getting charged in the United States. In private practice as an investigator in 2014 and 2015, he'd passed along intelligence he gathered on Russia and Ukraine to the U.S. State Department. Quote, he offered us that reporting free, so we also could benefit from it. After he started working on the Trump research in 2016, where his initial findings to him were so hair-raising that he sent the first memo in the dossier by physical courier Instead of trusting it to any form of electronic transmission, when those initial findings were so disturbing to him, he contacted an FBI official he knew who came to meet with him in London in July. Later that month, he reached out to the U.S. State Department, again, an organization, an agency to whom he had previously provided intelligence from his private research work. The State Department reportedly told him, this is the kind of thing that needs to go to the FBI, not us. Thereafter, he spoke with a Justice Department official, an official he had worked with on the soccer case, Justice Department official Bruce Orr. Then after that, while he was ringing alarm bells wherever he could about what he saw as the seriousness of what he was finding out, that's when he ended up meeting with all those FBI agents in Rome. That's where he reportedly gathered that the Bureau had independently developed information that appeared to match some of his reports. Soon thereafter, we had the election. Trump won. After the election, Steele, quote, quickly provided a full review of his findings for a senior British official, a step he had told the FBI in Rome he would take. Trump victory. Then in December, a former British diplomat who was fully briefed on Steele's findings, he arranged to meet with Republican Senator John McCain on the sidelines of a security conference in Canada, again, to try to ring alarm bells here about the seriousness of Trump's relationship with Russia and how it may have affected the campaign. Now, we've known that John McCain had been sort of read in on the Steele dossier and that he had provided its content to the FBI directly to James Comey after he received it from British officials. But now, thanks to the Washington Post, tonight, for the first time, we've got an account of what happened there when they met in Canada. Quote, Sir Andrew Wood, former British ambassador to Russia, described Steele's research for McCain and told McCain he could arrange for him to review it. McCain, he recalled, was visibly shocked. The senator expressed interest in reading the full report, Wood said, recalling that McCain responded, "Thank you for seeing me. You did the right thing, and I'm grateful. My first thought has to be for my country." My first thought has to be